Good morning to you all, my dear children. Today we are going to learn a new chapter in English, and the name of the chapter is Sindbad the Sailor. My dear children, Sindbad was a very adventurous man. So let's take part in one of his adventure in the chapter Sindbad the Sailor. The story of Sindbad and his 7 fantastic voyages appears in the huge collection of stories, the Book of 1001 Nights or the Arabian Nights. The meaning of voyages is a long traveling by sea. My dear children, if you notice the font used to prepare this presentation, this font is the special font used in the book The Arabian Nights. So let's learn about Sindbad the Sailor. The story tells us that Sindbad was a famous sailor who lived in Baghdad. He was honest, generous, and brave. He had many adventures on each of his voyages. He never lost heart and hope in dangerous situation. As I told you that he was a brave man. He overcame great dangers and returned home safely from each of his voyages. Now one day, Sindbad set sail with a company of merchants on a big ship. From time to time, they stopped at various ports. There they sold their merchandise and bought new things to trade. Now, my dear children, the meaning of merchandise is objects which are used to sell. One day, when their ship was sailing smoothly across the sea, they spotted a small island at a distance. They had not seen land for many days and felt both happy and surprised to see the island. Now, for many days, my dear children, they were only in the ship, and suddenly, when they seen the island, everyone got very excited. The captain of the ship allowed them to go there for a picnic. Wow! When you hear the word picnic, you feel so happy. So everyone was excited. On the island, they strolled around, sang and danced. Some people began to wash clothes. Some lit fire to cook meal. So Sindbad and his friends were enjoying their picnic. Soon something happened. A breeze sprang up. The fires began to blaze. Suddenly, the land began to shake and move. With a shock, the picnic party realized that the island was not an island at all. They were on the back of a huge sea monster, and it has started moving. Imagine, my dear children, the fear in everyone's face when they realized that it was not an island but a huge sea monster. People began to scream. They wanted to be safe, so they began to scream. They left their pots and pans, their clothes, and rushed back to the ship. The captain ordered his men to set sail immediately in order to move away from the monster. Everyone wanted to save their life. The sea monster plunged deep into the sea. Many of the people managed to climb aboard the ship, but many sank into the sea with so-called island. Sindbad alone did not drown in the sea, but he could not reach the ship. Many people lost their life. Many were saved, but Sindbad could not reach to the ship. He did not drown as well, but he could not go back to the ship. He saw it sailing far, far away. He was now at the mercy of the waves, being tossed here and there. He clung to a piece of wood and somehow managed to keep afloat. He spent the night alone at sea. He was very upset, but he had no option. When the next day dawned, Sindbad was happy to see that he had floated near an island, a real big island. Such a relief for Sindbad. He could see hills and woods and trees at a distance. Though he was extremely tired, he swam to the shore with all the strength he could muster. He brought all his energy back, though he was tired, and went swimming to the seashore. Exhausted and hungry, he lay on the sand for some time. Then again he made an effort and began to walk inland towards the shady fruit trees that he could see at a distance. My dear children, Sindbad was very hungry, so he rested for some time and then started walking. Luckily, it was the time when the king of that island sent his horses to the seashore with the grooms. The grooms saw Sindbad and gave him food and drink. They were very kind to him. Then they took him to the king. The king was impressed by the way Sindbad told him about what had happened. He asked Sindbad to stay with him and work as an officer of the king at the port. Sindbad was treated very well by the king. Sindbad stayed there for a few days, learning a lot from the king and the people on the island, and in turn telling them about the other cities and ports that he had visited. At the port, Sindbad often made enquiries about any ship coming from or going to Baghdad, but no such ship ever came to that port. He was missing his house, his hometown Baghdad. Then one day a ship arrived at the island with a lot of merchandise. Sindbad was at the quay when the cargo from that ship was being unloaded. He was surprised to see that his own name was marked on some of the boxes. Dear children, you can observe the picture. The merchandise have the name of Sindbad. And looking at these merchandise, he was surprised and very happy. Then he went to see the captain of the ship. At first, the captain could not believe that it was the same Sindbad that they had been drowning in the sea. But when Sindbad spoke to him face to face, he recognized him. He was overjoyed to see Sindbad alive. He gave him back all his merchandise. Whatever belonged to Sindbad, the captain gave him back. From the goods that he thus got back, Sindbad presented the most valuable items to the king of the island, and he said, "Please accept this, Majesty. You have been very kind and very generous to me." The king was pleased. He too gave Sindbad many valuable gifts when Sindbad left the island with the merchant ship. So, my dear children, these are the meanings that we need to read and understand. Merchandise, goods or things for sale. Trade, give in return for something or sell. Strolled, walked here and there without hurrying. Sprang up, developed or began to blow suddenly. Blaze means burn strongly. Afloat means floating. All the strength that he could muster means all the strength that he could use at that time. Inland means towards an area of land away from the sea shore. Grooms means person who take care of horses. Quay, a platform in a part or harbour where boats come to load or unload their luggage. And last word, cargo, means load of goods or things carried in a ship or an aeroplane. I hope, my dear children, you all have understood this adventurous story of Sindbad the sailor. Thank you.